Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Corbin Renner. Today I'm going to be giving my speech on war on terror in America. It was said by the U.S. Congress that in 2014, the total debt that has come from the war on terror has reached $909 billion. And this is an act that has been started when President Bush was in office, and it all started with the 9/11 attacks. Today in my speech, I'm going to show you a little bit more about the war on terrorism. I'm going to explain to you three main points. My first main point will be the facts of terrorism. The second main point will be how much it's costing the United States and how much it's costing us individually. The third thing will be what can we do to prevent it and how the United States is preventing it. Also, I'm going to add in my personal opinion on this matter. Now that I've laid the foundation for you for my speech, let's go ahead and dive into the facts. Well, as I said in my introduction, the war on terror was launched by the President Bush presidency in a attempt to completely shut down terrorism as of the 9/11 attacks. As most of you know, Osama bin Laden was the main person behind these 9/11 attacks, and the mission that George Bush sent out to all Americans was, we're going to find him and we're going to shut this down immediately. Well, if some of you don't know, President Bush sent out many forms to try to capture Osama bin Laden and try to kill him, but many of them were unsuccessful until finally there was a mission sent out, and it was named Operation Neptune Spear. This mission was the first mission that was actually successful in the killing of Osama bin Laden. Another thing that President Bush sent out was, it was called the Shock and Awe mission, and it was said to be the complete end of terrorism and the end of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. But according to the U.S. Senate, it was just a break in the war. Another thing is that terrorism is on the move. It is not just being stable and staying low-key. There are always new things coming up. The terrorists are not only targeting the United States in this, they're targeting London, they're targeting Britain, they're targeting other areas except for just the United States. Chemical warfare is also another thing that has been very popular the last few days. I don't know if any of y'all have seen, the bombings that have been going on. Just look at the Tokyo bombing massacre. That was from the Washington Post. Also with the Boston bombing, that was a big thing that impacted America tremendously. Now that I've fed you some facts about the war on terror, let's go ahead and dive into how much this is costing us. The war during President Bush's presidency it was basically the starting point, like I had said, and it has costed so much money that it's hard to get an exact amount. So the numbers I'm going to be giving you today are going to be estimates about this subject. According to the U.S. Economy website, during the launch for the terror, Bush spent $33.8 billion just to start this war. That was including just to send the troops over there, try to get them to locate everybody, try to get to shut it down. It was mostly for the Afghan war and for the killing of Osama, like I stated in my first bullet point. Many missions were unsuccessful, and of course it's not free to send over more troops, specialized troops, just for this type of thing. During the Obama presidency, in just his first year in office, he spent over $850 billion on the foreign war. He also dropped the name War on Terror that President Bush had issued because he said that he wanted to change everything. Like many of you know, his big deal was, we're going to change America. In 2012, he increased his spending to over $909 billion, which is where it's currently at right now, the latest estimate I got. And yet, you know, we've really seen nothing in changing the terrorist war. There's still bombings going on. There's still shootings happening on our own military bases and whatnot. And in 2014, the debt was raised to $758.8 billion. And this was, you know, it went down a little bit due to the pulling out of the Iraq war. As you can see, money is being shipped out like it's growing on trees. You know, we're running out of money, and we're feeding a war that seems like it's not ever going to end. Now that we've seen how much it's going to cost, let me give you my take on it and what we can do to prevent this. I believe that we need to specialize our troops in certain areas to prevent these terroristic attacks. And I think that we need to do what we have been doing, which is buffing up security in airports and the U.S. embassies and things like that. Now that you've heard my take on it, I'll conclude my speech today. Now that I've showed you 3 specific things on the war on terror, I'm going to leave you with a quote that George Bush said about terrorism. He says, "Terrorist attacks can shake the foundation of the biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America." Thank you.